Hello, investors. It is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager at Revere Asset Management. Today is Wednesday, October 30th, 4:50 p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state continue to be in an uptrend. And if we look at the trend gauge over here, market leaders have the green arrow. Short term, this is our 21 EMA, green arrow as well. Dow Jones lagging below. Midterm, this is our 50-day moving average, simple moving average, green arrow there. And then long term, our 200-day moving average, green arrow there as well. So S&P's kind of in a range right now, and we're starting to see earnings season ramp up, and I'll cover a couple of the highlights when I get back into the charts. 21 over 21 list down 1.15%. 3 green, 2 neutral, 16 red. Big 8 down 0.08%. RG8 down 0.77%. S&P down 0.33. Equal weight down 0.22. QQQ down 0.74. Equal weight down 1.17. Dow Jones down 0.18. Mid caps down 0.14. Russell 2000, after starting off pretty strong, closed the day down 0.10, 60/40 down 0.30, and then in-house GROTECTION down 0.25%. So as usual, I'll get into the inter-asset correlation, and we'll talk through these charts. So S&P 500, we're just still in this range. On the keys, we've been talking about 57.65 versus and 58.72. And I mean, you can see 58.72, this is the upper end of the range. And then you have 57, 65 down here. So kind of just in this range. One thing to note as you look at the daily here, we are the 21 days catching up. It's about less than 0.5% away. I'll tell you the exact right now, actually. Yeah, we're only 0.3% above the 21. So it's getting close. And this breaks the 21, we could see a trip back to this 50-day, and we're down, might be down a little bit after hours on some of these big tech earnings. RSP equal weight, in that range too. You could argue this is a little bear flag, but you have 50-day support right here. Would really want to see this be supported by the 50-day. It comes and touches it, or else kind of losing the medium term trend. And you can draw like an upward trend line here as well. So that could be a break of this primary uptrend for, RSP. QQQ still finding trouble at 500, but overall looks pretty good. We had Google earnings yesterday, had a decently strong reaction, and Meta and Microsoft reported after, and we'll check those when I get back in the charts. But, it looks fine, consolidating. Think this needs to get through 500 with volume to really see some more follow through in the market. But overall, looks fine. Could argue it's starting to wedge a little bit. You look at 60-minute, but, just kind of it's big range. So just waiting kind of for a break in either direction. Then this is the Magnificent Seven, and you can see we highlighted this little base, and this is coming back up into the top. So maybe it handles out here a little bit or continuing higher. Dow showing relative weakness, kind of bear flagging here against the 21-day, at the 50-day right here. We'll see if that holds. Definitely one of the weaker indexes right now. Mid cap still in this giant trading range. No momentum onto that breakout, and looks like it just might need some more time. Russell 2000, we highlighted this first correction, second, third, this fourth. These are VCP characteristics, and started to wedge pop above here. There's no real follow through, and that's just been the case for the last year and a half. We had that strong run on the Russell here, but ever since that, it's just once it gets going, it comes back down and so on. But look at the weekly, I think 2300 is really the spot that triggers that strong, bigger move that I think a lot of people are looking for. VIX, keep an eye on this one, closed back above 20. And that's just a good on-off pivot. We're a few days away from the election, and historically speaking, the VIX often tends to rise during that, right? Investors are trying to prepare trades based on who they think is going to win, what the policies could be, how it's going to affect the market. So there's a lot a lot of things at play right now. The dollar, too much, kind of flagging here after this strong move. Gold continues to hit new highs, just extreme strength here. Gold stocks, a little bit of relative weakness. Silver, forming a pretty nice flag here. As long as it holds above this base breakout, looks good. Bitcoin, tighter inside day after that strong push, and this looks really good on IBIT, paused right at that 42 spot. And after this strong move off that 28, 23 low, all the way up into almost 42, if this handles out here, that would be a fantastic looking setup for the market for Bitcoin. Bonds, sitting right at 200-day TLT, continues to head lower. No real relative strength there. 30-year, just kind of forming a flag here, and then TNX as well, just kind of flagging after those strong moves. Alrighty, let's get into the tale of the tape. So I mentioned VIX. VIX closed back above 20. 20 is a good risk on, risk off pivot to watch. Got GDP and ADP employment numbers this morning. Nothing too much to comment there. And then MicroStrategies, Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood, Coin, Carvana, they all reported after hours, and I'll get into those when we get back into the charts. And then those keys, as long as this S&P range holds, there's no reason to get bearish. 58.72 is the resistance, and then 57.65 is the support. And then the Q's range as well. 485 is the support. 499, /500, that's the breakout spot. Day 16 of the consolidation, and we're back below the 8 EMA, 35 days above the 21 EMA, and that 21 EMA is really catching up to price here. In action today, we flushed hard off the open and then had a strong reversal into mid-afternoon and then closed near the low a day. Sectors wise, nothing really standing out today. Oil, regional banks, financials, real estate up a little bit, but nothing earth shattering. And then down, silver was down, semiconductors, tech seeing a little bit of distribution, China and Bitcoin consolidating that move. In house today, we sold that IWM hedge, and then we added to Reddit as well. We bought in after hours yesterday on that initial pop on earnings, and then added today. And I'll talk about Reddit because I can't really ask for much more from an earnings gap. Bottom line, S&P 500 range bound, like you see here in the day 16, and then earnings season is ramping up. It's always fun. Alrighty, let's get into the charts. So let's start with Reddit. I mean, just monster day today. So they had an awesome quarter. They made money. A lot of people weren't expecting them to make money. So they beat on earnings. Guidance was very good. And then you can see this had huge volume, closed the day up 42% on nearly 800% above average volume. And one thing I do want to note is that you look over here, owners and funds. Here we go. So only 222 funds own this name, and that's not that a lot, but it has 3 flagged funds, and Fidelity Contra Fund's a good one. Danoff leads that, and that's he tends to pick the right stocks. And yeah, this is basically gapping out of an IPO base on massive volume on an earnings beat. Definitely the street is kind of re-rating this, and I'll just pull up an intraday chart, and you can see just as the market was correcting mid-afternoon, this came back, but it never violated that opening price, and it had a very strong rally into the close. And I mean, this chart looks fantastic. So we are engaged there. And if you look at ARM, this kind of reminds me of ARM right here. Had that huge volume out of a pretty nice IPO base. So that's a bit of a precedent that you can watch out for. Although we'd like to see more follow through on Reddit versus just 3 days up and then didn't do a whole lot. But yeah, that's kind of Reddit. Just really check every box that you want to look for when buying an earnings gapper. So off to a really good start there. And then let's take a look at some of these earnings. Let's see. MSTR reported. We own this in-house, just down. So yeah, recovering nicely. It's only down 3.5%. We'll have to dive into the conference call and see what Saylor says, but for MicroStrategies, their main drivers, their Bitcoin holdings, so earnings might not be that, big. We had Microsoft up, slightly up, better than down. That's not bad. Meta reported they're down about 2%. As we'll have to digest into the report, see what they said, but as long as they're not blowing up, that's going to be fine for tech. Robinhood, this one's getting hit a little bit, down about 6.5%. Coin, this one is down about 1.5%. And then we'll look at Carvana. I mean, this stock is just insane, up 22%. And not so long ago, this was a $3 stock, and now it is at 253 after hours. Pretty crazy there. So pretty mixed results, but so far this earnings season, majority of the names have been pretty good. All right. So that's some earnings. Take 21 over 21 list. GWRE, strong action, just frozen rope uptrend. Oracle, this one looks pretty good. Trying to break out of this flag in a tight consolidation. Shark Ninja, forming a really nice base here after a strong move up. Deckers, forming a nice flag here after that earnings gap. Cart, this one looks great. Another recent IPO, and this looks like 45 is a resistance right now. If this can break out, could see some more upside. F5, this was another earnings gap this week and putting a nearly an inside day, not quite, but this looks good. C Limited, so very strong stock, and we've been kind of watching this one for a pullback. So this even pulls back to the 50-day or undercut and reclaims the 21. That could be a good risk to reward spot for this one. Sprouts Farmers Market, same thing, just frozen rope uptrend. Tesla, put in that day two higher high, and then that third day got stuffed at 271, but this looks fine. I think let these moving averages catch up, and could flag nicely before 265, 270 is a huge resistance. So I think if it can get back above there with some volume, then this could really get going. A-Lab, good action, has ants popping up here, forming a flag, earnings in 5 days. Bitcoin, I already talked about it. Axon, again, just super nice action, frozen rope. VRT, putting a nice flag here, right under that, right above that 110 resistance. CEG, kind of a make or break spot, sitting right at the 21, got a clear downtrend line here. So maybe if I can get through there. NVIDIA, this looks great. Moved from 100 to 140 in a relatively short amount of time, and now it's flagging here right under high. So I don't think it's lagging at all. I think it's consolidating, flagging after a very strong move. Coherent, sitting right at the 21 day. CCJ, similar, shot right through those 56.24 highs, and now it's kind of starting to flag a little bit. Palantir, just a little bit extended, but continues to trend. Kava, pull back to the 21 day, but pretty normal action here. SMR, this is a high beta, high flyer, but this nuclear theme is pretty hot right now. And after breaking out earlier out of this flag, kind of just consolidating a little bit, but definitely a high octane name. Then MSTR, good to see this one not blowing up after earnings, only down, about 4%. So let's take a look at the in-house holdings. VRT looks great, which I'm NVIDIA. Tesla, yeah, we pretty much just all went through those in the 21 over 21 list. So yeah, we'll have to see how these earnings react tomorrow. Sometimes get some back and forth action in the post pre-markets during trading hours. You kind of get the real reaction when funds start to act and you start to see, what decisions they're making, if they're going to buy it or sell it. So we'll have to see. And still in this trading range in the S&P 500. And really the big thing now is earnings. We've already 37% of the S&P's reporting this week. And so far it's been pretty good. Meta, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, they're all out of the way with strong reactions. So, and then, a couple more big ones later this week. and then election in a couple of days, and then also FOMC is next week. So no shortage of events and catalysts. And just a reminder with earnings season, just know your dates and know another thing to note is sympathy plays. If you're holding something and another thing's reporting earnings and it's in a related sector, it could move off that as well. So just be aware. But that's all I got for today. So that is going to wrap it. As always, like to hear from you. Email is Connor at Revere Asset, and you can always reach out to Dan or Donna at revereasset.com. Phone is 855 Real Wealth. That is 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, please reach out. And with that, I'll wrap it for Wednesday, October 30th. This is Connor Bates with Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.